Just jump in where you can and hang on. Come on, come on.
Boys in love those wild-eyed southern boys. Wild-eyed boys. Wild-eyed southern boys.
Oh, Lordy. Did y'all see that Pajama Boy? The new Obamacare spokesperson? Whatever it is. Are you kidding me? I'm telling you what right now, that little freak ain't getting near my house. Drink your hot chocolate outside, you freak. And now they've got a bunch of gay caballeros dancing around a Christmas tree selling Obamacare. We're sick of it. Sick of it. Lord have mercy, everywhere you look. And ain't nobody want to watch a couple of men kissing? Hell no. 2%. Look it up. 2% of the population. And we're talking about research from London, Chicago, and over in UCLA. Studies show that gays make up less than 2% of the population. And you do not disrupt a society to accommodate 2% of the population. Well, think about it. What else might represent 2% of the population? People with 12 toes. Oh no, we gotta redesign the shoes. Oh no, oh, his shoes look like catcher's mitts. And welcome to Intellectual Froglegs. I've never seen Duck Dynasty, never have. But I'll tell you what, I'm a fan of Phil Robertson. Hell yeah, I've seen some clips of the man, and you know what? He tells the truth. And the truth hurts.
Because you can't please everybody, you know what I'm saying?
As the old saying goes, you can piss off a conservative by lying, but you piss off a liberal by telling the truth. And that's exactly what Phil Robertson did, but on like a really big scale. You know, when a lot of people are weighing in on this Duck Dynasty thing, and by the way, any word from Clay Aiken yet? Keep us posted.
Has he tried the anus? Because maybe if he did, he would like it more. And, you know, if you're going to kind of reduce something as complex as human sexuality to which orifice is better.
Anyway, I'd like to point to an article by John Nolte of Breitbart. It's short, but it's dead honest. Honesty. That's something our agenda-driven media know nothing about. Nothing. Anyway, but by extrapolating quotes and just plain old lying, the elite liberal media are using Phil Robertson as an excuse to go on their anti-Christian rampage that they hope will further their long-standing goal of toxifying biblical beliefs as bigoted and anti-gay. But you know what? If you read the full GQ interview, it is glaringly obvious that Robertson is anti-sin. He's not anti-gay, and he believes that we should all love one another. Not that way, Barney.
Love is in the air.
But to begin with, Phil didn't single out homosexual behavior. He listed over a dozen sins, including adultery and greed and bestiality and drunkenness, etc. But the most important thing that Phil said, the media won't report it. What Phil said was, make sure he says, quote, you put in your article that the Robertson family really believes strongly that if the human race loved each other and they loved God, we would just be better off. We ought to just be repentant, turn to God, and let's get on with it, and everything will turn around. If we just loved each other. See, that was Phil's overall point. And that's what he said just before we started talking about the sin stuff. See, obviously, context is everything when it comes to understanding truth. But context is also kryptonite to an anti-Christian media that's only interested in furthering their own bigoted agenda. You know, and if you look at the full context of what Phil said, including the quote about loving one another that the media is going out of its way not to report, how in the world can the media claim that Robertson said homosexuals are going to hell? Or that he singled out homosexuals? Or that he compared homosexuality to bestiality? You know, if Phil compared homosexuality to bestiality, well then he also compared adultery, drunkenness, and greed to bestiality. And nobody's arguing about that. But, you know, you can only claim what the libs are claiming about Robertson if you're lying. And by leaving out the pertinent stuff, you're lying. You know, Phil Robertson is anti-sin. Phil believes we should all love one another, and he believes that we can all be saved through the grace of Jesus Christ. And only the media and the radical left in this country can be offended by that. Good job, Nolte. You get a golden frog leg.
What do you mean you don't agree with me? Do you know who you're dealing with?
Well, my goodness gracious, let me tell you the news. My head's been wet with the midnight dew. I've been down on bended knee, talking to the man from Galilee. He spoke to me with a voice so sweet, I thought I heard the shuffle of angels sweet. He called my name and my heart stood still when he said, John, go do my will. Go tell that long-tongued liar, go and tell that midnight rider, tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter, tell him that God's gonna cut him down, tell him that God's gonna cut him down.
What difference at this point does it make?
You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later gotta cut you down, sooner or later gotta cut you down. Well, you may throw your rock, hide your hand, working in the dark against your fellow man. But as sure as God made black and white, what's done in the dark will be brought to the light. You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later gotta cut you down, sooner or later gotta cut you down. Go tell that long-tongued liar, go and tell that midnight rider, tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter, tell him that God's gonna cut you down, tell him that God's gonna cut you down, tell him that God's gonna cut you down.
But remember how the liberals were saying that, like, well, kids are going to have sex anyway, so let's give them condoms and let's teach them Karma Sutra. Which brings up the new sponsor of Intellectual Froglegs, Charlie Sheen's herpes ointment, now available in single dose 6-packs for love on the run.
Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring.
When Nikita Khrushchev has told his people he knows what our answer will be. He has told them that we're retreating under the pressure of the Cold War, and someday, when the time comes to deliver the final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because by that time we will have been weakened from within spiritually, morally, and economically. Spiritually, morally, and economically. Spiritually, morally, and economically.
The revolution will not be televised.
You know, you can't possibly have an honest opinion if you're afraid to hold it up to the light, you know, to face a little scrutiny. That's why I've listened intently to lectures by prominent and respected atheists like Richard Dawkins, Peter Singer, and the late Christopher Hitchens. And of course, when I say respected atheists, I don't mean by me. But I digress. You know, you should check out all those debates between Hitchens and Dinesh D'Souza were pretty cool too. They had a few of those. Anyway, but make no mistake, these guys like Hitchens and Dawkins and Stephen Hawking, You know, they're geniuses in so many respects, but you know what? When it comes to anything that implies intelligent design or something smarter than them, they get nasty, man. They get nasty. Are there wheelchair ramps in hell? But their hostility is irrational. I mean, I know I'm not as smart as you guys, but I mean, to me, it's irrational for so-called scholars or seekers of knowledge to just dismiss reasoned and studied opposition from respected scientists, from groups of them. I mean, at best, it's intellectual dishonesty. I ain't no scientist. In fact, I very much ain't no scientist. But I can tell when somebody has an agenda. I can tell when somebody's not being sincere. I know when somebody's peeing on my leg and telling me it's raining. Look, we all know government is openly hostile to Christianity. That's no secret. And we also know that the scientific community loves their government grants. That's their lifeblood. So with that in mind, I challenge you to show a case where our scientific community is not walking in synchronized goose step with our government. Global warming is a delicious example of collusion between science and government. Remember the UN scientists getting busted for fudging data? And how curiously close that was to the time they changed the name from global warming to climate change. But you know what? And I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn how smart anybody thinks they are. Science does not have the answer to the most basic of questions. Where did man come from? Yet they're convinced that the universe, which is a hell of a lot older and a hell of a lot more complex than mankind, and it didn't need a creator. No. How unbelievably arrogant.
She says, just like Marie Antoinette.
Nobody spends somebody else's money as carefully as he spends his own. Nobody has the same dedication to achieving somebody else's objectives that he displays when he pursues his own.
Let me ask you though, when it comes to Obamacare, do you hate Obamacare more than you love your country?
I gotta tell you something. I think that comments like that you are making are just incredibly inappropriate. What we have to realize.
You don't think it's incredibly inappropriate to shut down our government and to take all the hostages of Americans that you've taken? No, it's not inappropriate because you've taken the government hostage through a shutdown, and all the American people, you're now walking them to a cliff, the economy, and you're going to push them over one by one based on the fact that you don't like the ACA. That's all it is. You don't like the Affordable Care Act.
Listen to yourself.
Welcome to Profound Utterings with everyone's favorite wordsmith, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee.
You know, the absurd becomes more absurd the more you hear it, and that's absolutely absurd.
I stand here as a freed slave.
Yeah, that's hardly a coincidence that the richest counties in America are in the Washington, D.C. area. And in D.C., unemployment's just over 5%. So what's their secret? But seriously, what is Washington, D.C.'s primary industry? Plunder. It is. D.C. has the highest concentration of lawyers in the country, and they produce nothing tangible. Nothing. They create obstacles. They create regulations, laws, fees, fines, taxes, and other assorted out-of-court settlements. DC's boomtown, baby, and we're footing the bill. Let's put it this way. If we, the United States, were a dog, Washington, D.C. would be a big old fat tick on our ass. The moral to my story, we need a good vet.
The best things in life are free, but you can give them to the birds and bees. I want money. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. Your love gives me such a thrill, but your love won't pay my bills. I want money. That's what I want.
As we look ahead to 2014, you know what? I'm actually kind of optimistic, no joke. I mean, the total collapse of Obamacare is going to serve as a beautiful spotlight to further expose government-run entities as the incompetent disasters that they always are. And I am skeptically encouraged to hear that some folks in Hollywood are following my advice. They're going to follow the lead of the Bible miniseries. Remember that? That thing was like a rating tsunami, which just shows you that people are hungry for decency and people are sick of 24/7 vulgarity. So Hollywood's going to be cranking out some movies based on the Bible. Noah, Mary Mother of Christ, Gods and Kings, and another movie called Exodus. Now, I'd be lying if I said I didn't do some major eye rolling, especially when I saw some of the actors. But you know what? For now, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. See how long that lasts.
Bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle.
And I saw some early political forecasting on like CNN and some of these other lib channels predicting the candidates for our 2016 presidential election. And they're saying it's going to be between Hillary Clinton and Chris Christie. This cannot be allowed to happen. Anyway, I got the coolest gift from my friend Anita Garnier. Anita's from the left coast over there in the state of Washington. Anyway, I'm still cracking up. It's a... She made this, a Jodan superhero doll. A mini-me.
Put me down. Put me down. Put me down. Hey, watch where you're putting your hands, buddy.
You don't know. Mr. President, Mrs. Obama, there is a photograph of you that went viral, became the most shared photograph in the history of Twitter. How do you keep the fire going?
Dominique et Nick s'en allait tout simplement. Oh Dieu, pauvre et chantant. En tout chemin, en tout lieu, il ne parle que du bon Dieu. Il ne parle que du bon Dieu.
Have you ever heard of some fellows who first came over to this country? You know what they found? They found a howling wilderness, with summers too hot and winters freezing. Did they have insurance for their old age, for their crops, for their homes? They did not. They looked at the land and the forests and the rivers. They looked at their wives, their kids, and their houses. And then they looked up at the sky and they said, "Thanks, God. We'll take it from here." They were rugged fellows. They were men.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Please stop by the website at intellectualfroglegs.com. Sign up for the show alerts. Hook up with me on Facebook and Twitter. And thank you for the awesome donations. You know, we're absolutely 100% funded by you. And by the way, Intellectual Froglegs is actively seeking media partners. So if you have a website with significant traffic, contact me about some cross promotions. Anyway, please share the show with your friends. And share with some people that you know will get mad. They write the nicest letters. So until the next action-packed episode, talk amongst yourselves. Pork rinds, the perfect hors d'oeuvre. Agree or disagree?
No. Put me down. Put me down. Put me down.